All right. Yes, it's your boy Young Moolah, and we are back once again to bring you another live stream of a fantasy football draft. And yes, we're cruising back into the streets of Bestball. The Bestball streets have been packed with action, packed with lots of streamers, packed with the community getting back into it, full swing, right? So we're going to go ahead and look at a little board draft. Probably jump into a little board. We got time for a second one. Maybe we do that, but bringing you a little board today here on the stream. All right. And before we start, we must always say we are gentle and blissful, gifted and beautiful, generous and benevolent, and most appreciatively, we are grateful and blessed. Guidelines to achieve and build GAB Sports, and I'm your boy, Young Moolah. Yes, we definitely appreciate your support. Thanks for tuning in today, and we can't do anything without your support as we continue to grow this channel. Got some big things in store for you in 2026. Please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Take the time to leave a comment if you like. Also, like the video, and definitely follow us on social media at GAB4Young. That's the GAB, the number 4, YUUNG. Yeah, so we're coming off of that Super Bowl prediction as well, where we smashed that one. Yeah, I had 27-16, ended up being 29-13. The game kind of went as I thought it would. I mean, the defense of Seattle was just a little too strong for this edition of the New England Patriots. They overachieved much of the season. I believe the New England Patriots played a little bit above their head, and they were just outmatched in this matchup. And Seattle shut them down. Couldn't get anything going, New England. And it wasn't even an entertaining game at all to me. I had no dog in the fight, and these guys weren't entertaining. It was a pretty boring game overall, but there it is. But we put that on the back burner now, and we're going to go ahead and head over into these drafts. And so I named the title of this stream to Stop Drafting for Value. And we're going to get into a little bit of what that means as we are heading into these best ball contests. We still have so much more information to go, so I just have a take on this value hunting proposal that I just don't buy into. All right, so let's go ahead and head on over to Underdog. Okay. All right, and as we said, we wanted to jump into a little board. Let's go ahead and do that right here, right now. Little board. Where you at? Let's do it on my phone. We'll go ahead and enter on my phone. See what these streets are talking about. Hope they're active. I know there's probably a couple people still streaming right now. Didn't get a chance to get into any of those rooms, but we'll go ahead and join those later as well. All right. Little board, what you offering? Okay, we'll go ahead and jump into this little board. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we are entered into a little board. 20 entry max. We got 10 more to start. Hey, let's do it. In the meantime, yeah, let's get into what we talked about. Stop drafting for value. I know that's going to sound weird because that's a lot of things that we want to do is draft for value, right? And value hunting, right? Or if a player drops, slides in the draft according to his ADP. What do? We look at that, jump on them, and just snap them up. All right. How is that making us have an edge or allowing us to win? Well, you say, well, we'll get closing line value possibly, which means, later in the draft season, once the uh, window comes to a close for drafting this contest, the ADP of where you got a guy may be a lot higher now, and so you got him at a value price. Okay, that's great. Okay, here's where I have the problem. Are you just picking isolated players that have no meaning, no rhyme or reason to why you just draft them for this value hunting, or are they built into a larger picture of your roster? Meaning, do they really fit your roster? And that's where we're headed, right? We're headed to building rosters that fit within your strategy that you're trying to implement. And so a lot of times, right, the this ADP, right, it's being set by the current market, right? And this current market is about as uninformed as we'll have. And not that just we're stupid or anything, but just we don't have any information that's really relevant that can really change the market yet, right? I mean, we still don't have the combine. We don't have free agency. We don't have cuts. People are going to get cut, and obviously this is a pre-draft, so we're not even going to discuss we don't have the draft. But there's a lot of dominoes that still need to fall in order for us to be well informed. This is the misinformation stage too as well, right? A lot of people are like, hey, we're not going to trade this guy. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. I can't believe any of that, right? How do we know what you're going to do at this point? We're still waiting on several players. So buying all this information that's not really information, because actions are the information, right? That's really going to be the information is when there's action. Someone's hired, someone's cut, someone is signed here, things like that. The combine, someone smashes the combine, and you can see that they're obviously rising up the rankings. These are actions. So actions is going to spark the main movement or the real movement in the rankings. There is sometimes false movement based on false information or information that people are just highly speculating on. And that can also move markets, right? And that's something that maybe we don't want to fall prey to, is that just overreacting to information that's not really information. So beware of the false information or the speculative information. Hey, there's rumors that we're not going to trade this guy, or we're going to trade this guy. Any smart GM worth salt, is never going to tip his hand on whether he's trading a guy or looking to acquire a guy. So all these instances of we're hearing that, they're going to trade this guy, they're going to hold this guy, not buying it. The actions will speak soon enough, and then we'll be able to react upon those actions. All right. Yeah. So do we want to follow the market as is in these uninformed markets, or do we want to set our own market? That is the question. I lean on the side, I'm going to set my own market. Right. And we'll go ahead and detail a little bit more of this as we get into the draft. Also, we have our rankings coming out. Yes, we want to announce that. We are going to create a tiered system of rankings. So we're going to have our tiered rankings. And I believe that tiered rankings are only practical after we gather some more information. So I'm expecting my tiered rankings to come out maybe around the first week of free agency, which March 11th, I believe begins the process of the free agency period. And so somewhere around middle of March, 18th, 19th, 20th of March, we'll have those tiered rankings from GAB Sports available probably on my Patreon page. And so we're going to come with that new product, and I'm really looking forward to that. I've been doing a lot of work on that already, but I don't believe it's really viable until we have a little more information, because, say I release these rankings now, and then all of a sudden, hey, there's a guy who signs in your favorite spot where you got this favorite guy and crushes his value, right? So we're going to allow ourselves some time to make our rankings, tiered rankings, make an impact. and be something that you can utilize in these contests to get that winning edge. All right. So it's starting to fill. We got waiting still on 5 slots. Let's go ahead and add a little mood music to the ambiance here. Okay. We're going with our go-to lo-fi. Mike might start to react a little bit negatively, but let's go ahead and get that out of the way by just keep babbling here. So, yeah, I'm only maybe 30 drafts in, including big board, little board. I was interested in maybe doing a war room. Maybe I should have jumped in the war room. I will do that maybe if we have time for a second draft. So hopefully this fills up shortly, and then we can also add a war room to this stream. Okay. Four players left. Still to fill. The streets are a little asleep right here. That's okay. We are patient. In the meantime, yeah, I think there's a strategy out here that I don't see many people implementing, and I have no qualms implementing it, and that is the zero RB. Yeah, I've done several zero RBs already, and I think the builds are coming out looking pretty good, in my opinion. And is it a little bit risky in that the running backs over the last few years have just been smashing, and this is a trend that, is a real trend? It's mainly due to, I believe, the response from offenses versus the defenses who started to take away those big plays by putting the safeties deep, those two deeps, and also going to the smaller packages to match up with those 3 receiver sets. So they're adding a lot more nickel corners, linebacker, those hybrid linebackers who are a lot lighter and faster, the safeties who are turned into linebackers. So with defenses adjusting to all the big plays that the offenses were getting against them, that has in turn created a boomerang type of effect where the offenses have now instituted these heavier packages, the 12 and 13 personnel packages, and which has resulted in more running from these offenses and a little less passing, a little slower tempos. And so that has had an effect in our approach to fantasy as well. As you see, just a few seasons ago, the zero RB was all the rage in here on Underdog, where there's only 0.5 points per reception. I never really jumped into it as heavily as many. But I would always institute a few here and there. And you see that over these past couple of seasons, it has started to slowly drift away, and hardly anybody's implemented it now, right? You can go through numerous drafts in a row where no one will do a zero RB, right? Just the lay of the landscape right now. But I believe it's a viable option to return to that strategy. It's all about who you're targeting for that, right? Are you getting the teams, the receivers I'm talking about, because you're going to take all these receivers early. Are these teams really going to throw the ball a ton? Because if you're getting the receivers on these teams that are throwing, because not all the teams are throwing a lot. So if you're getting those specific players from the teams that still have a lot of volume in the passing game, this strategy could definitely work. And so there's a couple of receivers that I do like in the first round where I will implement a zero RB. Just throwing that out there, that is an option these days. All right, we're still hoping to fill this up. Do I need to jump out of this and get into a big board? What's going on here? Well, we're down to 3 players, waiting on 3 still. Okay. Once again, thank you for joining us here at GAB Sports Guidelines to Achieve and Build, where we're bringing you a live best ball draft here on the little board. We're waiting on a few players. I might just jump out of this one here. Okay, we don't want to wait. Continue to wait. Let's see if the other contests are viable right now. Okay, let's try big board. See if it feels much faster. Three more to start as well. So, didn't really matter, right? They both have 3 to start. All right, so let's go ahead and see where we're at now. Okay, should be about ready to start. One more for the little board. Waiting for one. Lonely soldier. Okay. Yeah, I've been getting a few more of the top 1 and 2 picks. And for a long time, through my first 20 drafts, basically, I had 0 picks in the 1 or 2 slot. And lately, though, that fortune has been turning around. Let's see if we can get the streamer's luck here. Did we get the streamer's luck? We got the number 2 pick, wouldn't you know it? Yes. And we will go ahead and take that. Ride that one with a bullet. Okay, I don't recognize too many of these people. If any of these users, that's okay. I'm sure they are all capable of something. Just as long as they don't try to ruin the draft, right? Like drafting guys like Noah Gray in the 4th round and Kobe White in the 10th round. This guy the other day just came with a bunch of picks. Just all of his picks were just, none of them had, as we call, value. None of them were anywhere near the value of their ADP. And I still have that draft. So hopefully Underdog doesn't do anything to remove that one. All right. Yep, we don't change anything in these 1 or 2 picks. We draft very standard here. Why? Because in my top tier 1 running back rankings, I only have 2 guys. That's a little preview of our tier rankings set to come to you about March 20th, a week into free agency. Our tier 1 is a 2 tandem bucket. Tier 1. Bijan, Gibbs. No one else. All right. So I will never deviate. 1 or 2, I'm taking Bijan or Gibbs every single time, whichever one's there. In that order. All right. So let's go ahead and look at the board. Kick things off. Mr. Fly. Stay fly. Knee stay fly, something like that, whatever. He takes CeeDee Lamb. Wow, okay. JT, I expect to come off the board any second here. Yep. Alrighty. Nothing out of the ordinary. Looks like we have a good group who's ready to draft. Drafting here in this little board on Underdog. Speaking of Underdog, if you haven't signed up yet, go ahead and sign up. Use code YUUNGMOOLAHH as it's written right here. YUUNGMOOLAH. Yeah, I believe they still have a promotion going where they match your deposit. Code YUUNGMOOLAHH. All right. McCrossroads, the mayor of McDonald's, he takes Malik Neighbors. I expect him to take a running back here. Genty, possibly. Oh, he went double receiver. Will we have a 0 RB candidate coming out of the 12 slot? I'd like to see it. All right. I think we're going to go ahead and set up what we want to do here. So let me see what we are looking to get out of this second spot. Let's sort by the ADP. Think I know what I want to do. I hope it gets to me. Well, we're 6 picks away. We'll see. Will we get one of the fallers to slightly fall? That's what I got my eyes on. But I doubt it. Is he going to take the shiny new toy, Jeremiah Love, Big Dog, or a wide receiver? Here in Notorious Parlay, he takes the shiny new toy. Now, what do I go for? Do I take Big Dog or do I take? I'm going to go with Big Dog because we have something in mind here that we want to try to pull off. And taking Big Dog right here gives us a leg up on what we are trying to do. You may figure it out as we go along. But it fits right into my discussion of what we're trying to accomplish. Hey, we'll take a Chris Olave share. So we haven't went anywhere out of script yet, which is perfectly fine. As we don't need to go off script every time. Right? That's a every so often kind of a strategy, right? You just go off script a little bit, especially early. There's no need to just do anything drastic here, especially when we like many of these plays. So the 3 players I've taken so far, Gibbs, Big Dog, Chris Olave, are all perfectly fine to me this year. I think Big Dog, I've been on him heavily the last 2 seasons, and he's delivered here in Baltimore. And I think that maybe I think he's got one more in him. One more pretty big season. I think he has that in him. Yeah. So the Big Dog will still be coming in with a big workload one last time. Although they do have a new brain trust on the offensive side of the ball as well as the head coach. But in the end, when you got a guy like Big Dog, you got to maximize him while you can. You know, he's one of those ageless wonders, but at some point in time, Father Time will be undefeated once again. But not this year. I think he still has one left in him. You can see that they started to look to ease his workload for some reason at the wrong times, though. Last year, like later in the season, when they had to win games, they would try to. This was Harbaugh's decision, evidently, which is one of the reasons why maybe he's out the door. They would try to rotate in some of the backups like Keaton Mitchell and that guy Ali, Rashawn Ali, I believe is his name. At the wrong times, like, you know, you're leading the game. Keep Derrick Henry in there and wear the other team out and win the game. Close the game. Harbaugh, for some reason, didn't want to use Big Dog down the stretch in tight games sometimes, which was a little perplexing. Okay, the plan is, let's see if the plan works. It's coming close, but I'm not expecting it to based on the ADPs of the guys I had in mind. Once I took Derrick Henry, but we'll see. Nope, there's one of them. There's the other. I thought I might be able to squeak out the full Ravens sack, but we didn't. Okay, so we're going to go with this guy. Actually, we're going to take the veteran first. Terry McLaurin. We want both of these guys. We're going to do it in this order. Yeah, because the guy I value the most is McLaurin there. But I do like Burden as well. And so let's get into a little bit of this stop drafting for value. Hence, Luther Burden here is not a value pick. Okay? Draft for upside. That's number one. Instead of drafting for value, what we're doing, we're drafting for upside. Why? Because we want to build a team and draft a roster that we believe are winning rosters, right? Which means what? Okay, don't draft for value? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is focus more on drafting winning rosters. The build counts more than the value. If you have convinced yourself that certain teams are just the skiznit, is what I'm going to say, this year, and you just think they're just going to score a ton of points, and you just think that they're just going to do everything you want to do in fantasy, or a group of teams, load up on those teams. Do not be concerned about the price, because we're trying to draft winning rosters, winning correlations. So those winning rosters means stacking your teams, correlating your teams. Yes, I'm saying correlation without schedule, correlating. And also, your roster should include tons of upside, including some contingency value, right? Guys who, if their situation changes at a later point, whether it's due to injury, whether it's due to people being cut, but you know that these guys with a certain amount of contingency value, they also have the upside to capitalize on this changing opportunity. Some guys, they can have all the contingency value in the world. If they get the job, though, they're not really going to be any good. And so sometimes those guys aren't worth rostering, even though they have some contingency value. But if you're talking about the guys who, if they get a certain opportunity, they got the ability to maximize it, right? So a lot of receivers people draft thinking there's contingency value in receivers, and who may not even have any upside, they're just a receiver on the team. But receiver is the position where just because you get an opportunity, you might not be able to capitalize on it, right? So we're prioritizing guys who have premier talent, right? A lot of these congested situations, where there's a lot of clutter in certain groups, whether it's receiver or tight end or whatever, or these ambiguous backfields that have maybe 2-3 guys in contention for snaps or whatever. These types of situations, we're not worried about. Let's go ahead and get a Pearsall share. Been adding a few shares here and there for this guy. We're not worried about the cluttered groups as much as we are worried about the talent of the groups. So my position is to take the most talented guys in these groups. That's where I'm leaning. So if there's a receiver room that has like 3-4 guys, they all seem to be bunched up, I'm banking on the talented guy to separate himself. So this whole Arizona situation is kind of ridiculous in my opinion. Who did they draft in the first round? think they drafted a guy named Marvin Harrison Jr., didn't they? I think they did. And so with that, with them drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. in the 4th pick of the draft, he's the guy that they're going to be leaning on, in my opinion. I mean, Michael Wilson, yeah, he had a fine season last year. Great. Marvin Harrison was not there. Kyler Murray was not there. So these ambiguous situations, or there's a little bit of uncertainty, I'm taking the guy with the talent, the pedigree, banking on that one. The ADPs are too close for this to be an even race. Somebody's going to win this race. I'm banking on talent, pedigree, investment. That's just how I'm going to do it. And so all these things about, hey, a guy, is he valued at this position, right? At this draft spot, at this ADP. Well, the value you see now is relative compared to the roster you want to build, right? Because the roster I want to build is what I'm looking at, not the value of each pick in the build. Because each pick in the build may not correlate how I want it to correlate to give me that winning edge in weeks 15, 16, 17. It may not correlate to maximize my spike weeks where I got a stack here and I got a run back here and the game goes 44-38. And I got 5-6 pieces in that because I correlated during this pre-draft of divisional correlation. That's heavy right now. And so things like that, I prioritize over value hunting, quote unquote. Yeah, I'm building the rosters. That's number one. Let me do the roster build that I want, whether it's the construction or the correlation or the correlation. It's probably going to be a mixture of both. Do both of them. All right. So we can use a quarterback. Let's see what the quarterback room is looking like, or the quarterbacks that are available. All right, we're going to have no problems waiting on a quarterback here. Yeah, we might just wait on quarterbacks here. 8th round, Jadarian Price. He's our guy. I'm not going to trust this guy in the corner. We're snatching the guys we want. This is what I'm talking about. I don't care about waiting for his ADP, Jadarian Price. I'm taking the guys I want to build with. And that's a fair enough price to me. So we rocking with that one. Denzel Boston. We're going to go ahead and take a share of him. I don't have much of him. So we're adding a share of Denzel Boston. Yep. In case he goes to my Ravens. He goes to the Ravens. No, not my Ravens, but the Ravens. I do like the Ravens, though. But kind of like a secondary team of my liking. But I only cheer for one team. That's the Raiders. Yep. But I got Big Dog and potentially Denzel Boston, who could become a Raven. And we're correlating that with our DK Metcalf and also our Chris Olave. Right? Because those teams match up this year, as well as Detroit matches up with the NFC South. So they will play Chris Olave as well, along with Luther Birding playing Jahmyr Gibbs. So we're trying to build this correlation, and this is not by accident. Yeah. This is purposeful. Okay, we do have Goff because we need a quarterback. I mean, we do have, Goff just goes, right? Okay, we'll wait on the quarterback. They're going to jump on all the quarterbacks. So let's just start loading up our quarterbacks that we can get that are available to us since we did wait. This is one of our rare wait on quarterback situations, but we did it and we okay with it. We like this. It's okay. We can find some value later and some of the cheaper guys. Okay, we loaded up our queue with quarterbacks. Now we're going to go to my ranking instead of the ADP. Yes, that's what we want to do. We want to look at some of the dudes we like because we throw ADP out of the window. We're not drafting for value. We're drafting for roster build, team building. Yes, we want the team we want, not the value we want. If they can coincide, great. If they don't, roster team building wins out every time. Okay, where's CJ Stroud? Add another AFC South. AFC South correlates well with these teams. Okay, I see what I want to do. Did we get any New Orleans? We do have Olave. Shucks at the top of our list. We'll go ahead and break a little shucky shuck off right here. Shucky shuck. All right. And now what's our second move we want to do? We want to go back-to-back QBs. We'll probably be prudent here since the QBs are jumping off the board. But we don't have to be prudent. No, we never have to be prudent. Oh, I did want Coker there, though. We can definitely wait on tight end some more. We can wait on running back some more. So quarterback is the route. And let's see how many quarterbacks everybody has. Yeah. There's going to be a run on quarterbacks coming up shortly. Going with Stroud. See how that works out. Doubled up on quarterbacks here. 10th, 11th round. Tyler Shuck, CJ Stroud. Okay, we got the full board here. Okay. Let me see how many quarterbacks these guys got. They're going to start taking them. Yep. Everyone's going to want their third quarterback. So quarterbacks are going to dry up. So I took two at the right time since I did wait. We're in the middle of the 11th round. Coming back to us at 143 and 146, 12th and 13th rounds. Coming out of the number 2 hole. Okay. I see. Yeah, so this is where we're going to definitely look to pound the guys we like, right? No doubt about it. We're not going to worry about ADP at this point in the draft, this late in the draft. Because like I said, the market, are we trusting that this market is correct with this little bit of information? And there are a lot of dudes that I like later in the draft, and I see that a lot of times when I do try to wait on them, I never get them. So this is the point in the draft where I just say, go get your guys. If you got guys that you have earmarked this late, because the relative ADP difference that you're taking them from, a little early, it's not going to matter in the end if you're right on these guys, right? That's all it is. And what I'm prioritizing is talent. I can speculate on opportunity, but we're not going to know much about opportunity until these rosters are more filled up with the free agency signings, with the roster cuts and things like that. And also the combine will shed some light on where these draft prospects are lining up, which round they're projecting to. Because right now, it's not enough information to project which teams are looking to get which players, which positions, right? Because they're going to fill some of those needs in free agency. And that usually happens right away. The first wave of free agency is usually the biggest period where signings happen. The better players are usually scooped up during that first wave of free agency. So we're waiting for that. All right, so let's go ahead and get ready for our next pick. We're up in 4 picks. Okay, we are up. Let's see what the running back and tight end spots look like. Yeah, we like us some Jordan Mason, man. We're going to go Jordan Mason right there. We like Tucker. We like Brooks. So we're going to, we need a tight end as well, right? Do we go Mark Andrews, Juwan Johnson? We're going to build our stack. Juwan Johnson, man. This guy, I think, is due for a big, big season. He and Shuck are like best buds. Yeah. They went to college together. I think they were roommates at one time. And so he's going to give this guy a pretty good target percentage. I saw it last year. Worked pretty well. I don't think there will be any competition for his spot. Juwan Johnson looks like Taysom Hill has probably played his last game in New Orleans. So, yeah, we got a Tyler Shuck +2. We can roll with that. Tyler Shuck, Olave, Juwan Johnson. Let's see what our running back pool looks like, the rest of these guys. Yeah, we got some guys. I'm not going to go ahead and put them on queue yet. We're just going to go ahead and let it play out. But we know who we're looking at. Definitely going to need a third quarterback. So let's keep our eyes open for what that will look like. Okay. All right. So out of these receiver room, Luther Burden, Pearsall are guys who have yet to really accomplish anything. But they are 2 guys with promise, right? One's a first rounder, late first, the other an early second. And they're on 2 very solid offenses, which definitely is something we always stress. We want to draft from the best offenses in the league. And I think we've accomplished that. I look for New Orleans to take a big step up. Yeah, I think they'll be one of the top. I'll give them a top 12 offense in the league, right? So anywhere from 1 to 12, let's say anywhere from 7 to 12, realistic. Yeah, I look for this Saints team to probably bring in a top tier talent at either the running back or the receiver spot in the draft. It's kind of where the tea leaves are kind of flowing here at this moment. Running back or receiver, maybe first round, second round, one of those rounds. They do also have a need at the edge rush position. They do have, what's the guy who was the first round pick a couple years ago, starting to play better? Young. Chase Young starting to play really well for them, but they're losing Cameron, the veteran who's been there forever. I think he's retiring. Okay. No way I can let you have this guy. This is my guy. We're driving for upside and talent. Yeah. Jonathan Brooks, upside and talent. Wow, he jumped on Shedeur Sanders. Okay, buddy. Good for you. I'm not going to worry about the third quarterback yet. We're just going to go load our roster up with players we like. And we like this guy. We like Likely. We like Likely. Yeah. So we'll take Likely as our second tight end. No matter where he lands, this guy's talented. There has been some whispers that he possibly could unite with a mortal enemy of the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes. There's been some little bit of whispers coming there. Don't know if everybody's heard this, but again, I don't jump on speculation and rumors, but if Isaiah Likely is on the Ravens or if he's on the Chiefs, hey, how can you go wrong no matter what slot, right? So I think he'll have a vital role either way. He could have a potentially bigger role if Kelsey steps, into the fog, right? And goes into that married life and and much success to you on your second career if you decide to retire. It's been a great ride. Salute to you, Travis Kelsey. But he could be out of there, and then they bring in a guy like Likely as the top dog tight end. That would be wonderful, right? All within the realm of possibility. We'll see. Okay, so we're currently sitting at a 2.562. Mims Gunnerhelm. We got to bump this guy up. Definitely. Okay. And not going to forget about this guy. All right, we got enough in our queue for right now. We'll see what else is out here. Did that guy have Fannin or something? Because he jumped on Shedeur. He must have Fannin. Yeah, he was waiting. He snatched Shedeur so fast. All right. Ha-ha, slit. Ha-ha, please tilt. Ha-ha, please tilt. Oh, I almost put you on tilt, but I'm not that kind of guy. I build my team. Wasn't worried about having Shedeur here, but you were quite concerned with things, but that's fine. You got your correlation. Good for you. You got Judy too. Yeah, nice build. And so yeah, I'm usually sticking to what I'm trying to build. So even if I would have taken Shedeur there, it would have no reference to him. I would have been taking Shedeur for my third quarterback backstack. But I did not. So let's see where we're at. We are only 3 picks away. Coming up here on your draft of a little board here on Underdog Fantasy Sports Little Board Drafting. All right. Should we take Brissett? Do we have any Cardinal love? We do not have any Cardinal love. Here we go, Rodgers. We're going this guy first. Torrey Horton. We love him. If you didn't recognize who that was on our thumbnail, it was the Torrey Horton. Yes, it was. And he's part of my drafting talent portfolio. Yeah, I think Cooper Kupp may be out. I mean, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Do we want to go Dylan Sampson? What does our backfield look like? No, we don't need Dylan Sampson. We're going to take Aaron Rodgers first. Yeah. But yeah, Torrey Horton could benefit from the exits of both Cooper Kupp as well as Rashid Shaheed, who I believe is coming to my Raiders. It's just speculation, right? It doesn't matter what I'm hearing, but I follow tea leaves more than I do what I'm hearing. And with Kurt Kubiak, or whatever his name is, Cliff Kubiak, with Kubiak coming to the Raiders, he will bring some of his soldiers with him. And one of the guys who I know that he likes and he's featured and he's utilized for the past 2 years is Rashid Shaheed. So that's a connection that I believe will happen, and take it or leave it. But I'm taking it, and I've been drafting that combination together, actually. That would be Fernando Mendoza and Rashid Shaheed. Okay, let's see what we can do here. We got 3 quarterbacks. Do we need to add a 4th? It's not out of the questions for me to add a 4th in this type of a build. I swing for the fence sometimes, and this is what I'm talking about. We're building for upside, because if certain guys get on the field, like Richardson, if they get on the field, they can light it up fantasy-wise. So 19th, 20th round, I don't have a problem selecting those kind of guys, because your 19th, 20th round pick will often be a 0 anyway. So why not take a dude who, if they get on the field and nobody else is drafting them, if this dude gets on the field, he can do some damage. Do not think he cannot. Right? Do not think that this guy can't do something, right? Okay. Let's see who else we like. Freiermuth. Yes, we do like some Freiermuth. And so it's Freiermuth with the Steelers. Rodgers goes back to the Steelers. Trade for Mac Jones. Mac Jones goes to the Steelers. Who knows? All these are possibilities. So always keep the possibilities of player movement open. Jalen Noel could emerge, right? We don't know, right? Okay, we're going to go Jalen Noel. We're going to take that running back that I like first. Here he is. No, not Mac Jones, man. We did not do that. That's not what we wanted. We put Mike Washington up there. You didn't see that? I guess I just got it in a split second too late. But we got him anyway. But I did not really want Mac Jones. But we got him anyway. That's fine. Okay. So we had with the 4th quarterback, Mac Jones. We want you to be on the move. Although we do have Ricky Pearsall, in case Mac Jones ends up staying in San Francisco and he gets behind center. So it's okay. All right, epic fail, live and direct for you. Gotta love it. All right. We're not taking another quarter. Oh, hey, I'm not going to rule it out. I'm definitely not going to rule it out of taking another quarterback. And that would be Anthony Richardson in a 5-6-7-2 build. I can go 2 tights with this room here. I'm not afraid. Tight end is one of those positions you don't have to overload all the time. In fact, I had a one tight end build that did very well last season. Got to week 16 with a one tight end build. That one tight end was Trey McBride, but I just had one the whole year. And luckily, thankfully, he stayed healthy the entire season. So that was a blessing. All right, we're 10 picks away. Let's look at some of these last picks we've taken. Okay, so some of the last few picks in these rounds. We ended up with a fourth quarterback and Mac Jones in the 18th. And in the 19th, we came back with Mike Washington. Hopefully our guy gets to us. We have a certain receiver we want to go ahead and take here. And it's possible. I think it's likely he gets to us. Okay. We are coming up right now. We're up. And we're going to go ahead and finish or add to our CJ Stroud with Jalen Noel, coming off of a pretty pedestrian rookie season, but, you know, we'll see what he does. Year two. All right. Do we have time to bust another one? Let me check it out. No, we do not. So we're going to go ahead and cut it off right here. All right. Thank you. Thank you once again joining us here at GAB Sports for another live Bestball draft. We did a little board and we talked about our draft strategy a little bit, a little peek into it. And we're not looking to draft for value. We're looking to draft the team build strategy. We're worried about our teams. And I'll illustrate some more of this as we continue to draft, but it's not just about what was executed today. It's also an approach that will look a little wacky. This one team build I did, and I want to kind of duplicate that because it's just something different. But it's something that I believe gives me an edge because I'm banking on teams and I'm banking on talent. So I trust in that, and we're going to continue to operate in a fashion that isn't going with the masses. All right. So appreciate you. We are thankful for each and every one of you for stopping by on your way out. Please like the video. Go ahead and follow us on social media at GAB for Young. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in these best ball streets. Peace.